Good morning and happy Monday. It is the day after Super Bowl, which is apparently Super Sick Monday, like everybody calls out of work. So if your husband is at home on Super Sick Monday, good morning. Mine's not. Mine's at work, which is great. So I want to talk to you today about a topic that really hits the nerves of a lot of people: being friends with your child. Should you? Shouldn't you? What are the ramifications? What are the positives? And how do you go about being friends with someone that you've been told your entire life you shouldn't be friends with? Yeah, it's like the mean girl thing. Well, I want to go over some things. I want to go over people's views in society that children are less than. What do you think of that? Do you think children are like a subspecies of adults, that they don't deserve the respect, that they don't deserve to be seen, that they don't deserve to be heard? They should just follow your directions and do exactly what you say, because that's what happened to you. There's a thought. Do you really want to repeat that? And I'm going to get a little biblical on you in just a second. Now, understand, I am not about religion. Religion is an institution. Faith is the practice and the act of believing. But the reason I want to get into this is because this is the basis of our society in America, and oftentimes in Europe, is that base of Christianity, of the Ten Commandments. So that it goes throughout our government, it goes throughout our laws, it goes throughout our subconscious thinking. So I'm sure everybody's heard of the first commandment, which is honor thy mother and father, right? We all grew up with that, like you have to do that. Well, I ran across something in my readings the other day, which I thought was pretty interesting, and I want to share it with you. Hey, good morning. How are you this morning? You are getting a quick little Bible lesson, which is really not what I want to do, but I think it's important so that you understand where our society gets this view that mothers and fathers should be honored. Honor thy mother and thy father, right? Well, I have a news flash for you, because most people don't actually read the Bible. Like, they just take whatever. Hey, Becky, how are you? Good morning, sweetheart. I'm going to give us a quick little Bible lesson. Are you ready for this craziness? I know, I am so not like into the Bible, but I've actually read it like 3 times front to back. And the reason I've done that is not because I'm like some crazy Christian redheaded lady. It's because I want to know how society bases itself. So I was just going over the first commandment of honor thy mother and thy father. That is how our society has been raised for generations after generations, thousands of years. So I was flipping through. I'm like, well, what the hell is up with this? Like, I know there's got to be more to it than that. And there usually is, because no one ever like reads the sentence afterwards. So this is what I found. In Ephesians 6, verse 4, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in training. Hello, that says don't piss your kid off. That says don't be an asshole to your kid. Has anybody ever bothered to tell you that part? Like, guess what? There's something beyond honor thy mother and thy father. Yeah, no one ever has. It's like, so why aren't they telling you this? Why aren't they telling you, oh, by the way, parents, don't be assholes? Because it demeans the child, which keeps them in that subservient slave mentality, which was what was going on when the Bible was written. Where did our society come from? The majority of it came from the Bible. So we're going to get out of the Bible. But I just thought that was really kind of interesting that no one's ever bothered to talk about this. Like, don't piss your kid off. Hello? How do you not piss your kid off? Well, you get to be friends with them. And what does that mean if you're friends with your child? Well, what does it mean to you to have a friend? Well, the definition of a friend, according to Webster's dictionary, I know I'm getting like really technical this morning, is that it is a mutual affection exclusive of sexuality and family. Newsflash, you're not allowed to be friends with your partner according to that definition. Especially if you're having sex with them. Oh my God, who would have sex with their spouse or their partner? Oh, not sex. Oh. And oh my God, if you're married, they're part of your family. Nope, you can't be friends with them then. So, hey, good morning, Sarah. How are you, hon? Good morning, Sarah. Meet Becky. Becky meets Sarah. So we just went over the society of how we have come about to being honor thy mother and thy father, and the verse that comes after that, which is basically don't piss off your children. All right? Don't do it. Be their friend. So now we're on to, well, you're not allowed to be friends with your partner because A, they're family, and B, you might be having sex with them. Because according to the dictionary, a friend is someone, yay, go Good morning, Sarah. A friend is someone who is exclusive of sexuality and exclusive of family. So then what does that make your partner? So think about that, like mind blown. Hello, can't be friends. So sorry, spouse. Rich, I'm not your friend. I'm apparently just your, honky-tonk lady in my mom clothes. Anyway, so let's talk about what does it mean to be a friend, okay? I am friends with Sarah here. Her daughter, Una, and my daughter, Sarah, are friends. So what does it mean to be a friend? Does that mean you let them run all over you? That you let a friend do things to you that hurt you? I don't. Like, if my friend is a real bitch, I'm going to say, hey, that wasn't cool. Like, that hurt my feelings. Or if they're going down a path that I know is really bad for them, I'm going to say, you might want to look out for X, Y, and Z. I've tried that. It's really not a good thing. But if you want to do it, I'll still be here for you. So why is it that people freak out when you say, I think I should be friends with my kid? What did they do with their friends? Did they hang out and get drunk and get high all the time? Did they have no boundaries? If they did, then they have issues with relationships that has nothing to do with being a friend. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up or something so that I know that I'm getting through. Or let me know if you disagree with me, because I'm totally cool with disagreement. I think actually that makes for some awesome conversation. If you had a chance to read over some of the comments this morning, Dawn and I were talking back and forth about people who have attachment parenting. And there's a difference between attachment parenting and codependency people. Codependency means you have to rely on me for everything, that I am no good at any of this, I don't have value without you. Attachment parenting is giving that child the self-reliance and the ability to believe in your relationship that it is stable, that it is safe, that they can always come to you. But people seem to think that you give into every whim, everything. No. Do you give into every whim of your friends? I mean, Becky, if you came to me and said, Mary, I need $100,000, I'd say, that's nice. Oh, what are you going to do about that? I don't have it. I wouldn't give it to you carte blanche. I don't give my children things carte blanche. It is my job to be their mentor, to be their guide, to be their facilitator. And how do you do that? You do that by being a friend. You communicate with them. Do you have boundaries? Of course you do. I hope you have boundaries with your friends. I have boundaries with my friends. No, you're not going to come over naked and dance in my living room. Even if you are drunk, you're still not going to do that. That's not cool. Okay? So I thought that as well. I did mostly attachment parenting, birth to Una in Southern California City, where Dr. Sears is, and it was so big out there. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with attachment parenting. I still do it with Elizabeth and she's 19. What is attachment parenting? It is raising a child in a way that they have a solid and secure attachment so that they have their own self-confidence, their own self-worth. So it doesn't mean you're going to nurse them until they're 20. It may mean you'll nurse them until you're done nursing them. That could be 9 months. It could be 6 weeks. It could be 6 years. It's for no one else to decide what's right. But to get back to being friends, yes, security to independence. Yes, that's exactly it. How do you expect your child to be independent if they have no idea that they can rely on your relationship, that you're not going to shove their face in it? They don't. So they're going to put up this guard, and then they're going to be defensive when they talk to you. You're going to be defensive when they talk to them, and you're not going to be coming to each other with love. You're going to be coming to each other with defensiveness. And I know this because I've done it. Neither of you know me from before, but if you knew me from before, you'd say, oh my God, who is this woman? I was like some crazy badass bitch that parented the way that the doctor said to parent, that parented the way society said to parent. And you know what? It destroyed my relationship. I had so much more work to do to get it back. I don't have to do that with Sarah. So, for example, Sarah came to me last night and she was really angry and she didn't know why. And it came to her that she was super angry because I never talk about her. It's only Lizzie. Well, she hadn't given me permission to talk about her. I'm not going to talk about a friend I haven't been given permission to speak about. That's not cool. That's not respecting my friend. That's not respecting their boundaries. That's not respecting their space. So now I have permission to talk about Sarah, which is really kind of awesome because she's a pretty cool kid. But I wasn't going to disrespect my friend and her space. Okay? When I'm friends with my child, what I mean is this. I respect their boundaries. I respect their space. I respect them as another living being as I would my husband as I would my parents. I'm not going to assume that my wants and needs are higher than their wants and needs. In no way, if they're in the middle of a project, am I going to come in and say, hey, it's time to leave now, let's go. And they'll be pissed that they're not ready to go. Would you do that to your partner? No. Would you do that to your best friend? Well, maybe if the house was on fire, okay? There are times it's appropriate. But there's really no reason to be so disrespectful to children and then be pissed off that they're disrespectful to you. Well, where do you think they learned it from? Like, I was at the Great Wolf Lodge a few weeks ago, and my friend Heather invited Sarah and I. It was great. I loved it. We had a great time. But listening to the parents there broke my heart. So, for example, there was this little boy who was too afraid to go down the slide, okay? And his father was yelling at him about being a pussy. He's 5. He's 5. He's like, you're a fucking pussy at 5 years old. You should have gone down that slide. Don't you talk back to me. Because the kid was like, but Dad, I'm scared. Like, don't you talk back to me. Holy shit. Like, you wonder why your kid is quote unquote disrespecting you? No, the kid wasn't disrespecting his father. He was saying he was scared. How is that disrespect? It's not. So many things that parents like get up in this big uproar about, think about it. I mean, is it really your kids talking back? And what does that mean? What does it mean, my kid talked back to me? They had an opinion that wasn't yours? So what? They're not you. They are them. You know, it's totally fine for your kid to have an opinion that's not yours. That's what makes them them. All right? You want your child to grow up, be independent, move out of the house. Are you raising a child? Or are you raising an adult? I'm not raising a child. I'm raising a to-be adult. How do I raise a to-be adult? Well, I treat them with respect. I treat them with dignity. I help them maneuver decisions that are age appropriate for them. I'm not going to ask my 2-year-old whether or not they think it's safe that they're going to play out on the road. No, I'm not. I'm going to put a gate up or I'm going to watch them. But I do trust, but that by the time they're 8, 9, 10 years old, they know not to play in the road. Why? Because that boundary was set. They know not to be rude. They know not to do things that are not safe for them. And let's now talk about those fun teenage years. What happens when you're not friends with your teen? Oh my God. What do you think happens, Sarah? Do you think they enjoy being with you, or do you think that they're complete brats and they act out and they're obnoxious? They're obnoxious. And why? Because you have no relationship with them. Where do teens turn to? They turn to their friends. So why do you not want to be their friend? Don't you have mentors and friends that are older than you? I know I do. I have friends that are in their 60s. I have friends that are in their 70s. I can't say they're in their 80s yet. They're at their late 70s. So why should you not be your child's mentor and friend? Like, why does that not occur to people that it's really an okay thing to be? That doesn't mean you're going to go out and get drunk and get high together, because hopefully if you are their mentor and their friend, they already know that's probably not the best thing for them to do. I'll give you an example. So, difference between being an authoritative parent and a parent that's a friend. And it happens here in my own family. So I have a stepson, and he came to visit over the summertime on his way back to college, and he wanted to have a drink of wine with his dad. He's underage. So here's the difference between being a friend and being a mentor friend. Dad said, sure, that's no problem, son. You can have a glass of wine with me. And I looked at him like, are you kidding me? Alcoholism runs rampant in that family. So you are encouraging that behavior. And he's underage. What boundary are you setting? You're not being his friend. You're being irresponsible. And yet, Elizabeth and I, we've sat down and we've talked. I'm like, look, sweetheart, I'm not going to promote underage drinking. If you want to go out on your 21st birthday and you want to get drunk, I ask that you do it with me. Why? Because I'm going to keep her safe. Because I'm going to know the difference between being drunk and alcohol poisoning. I'm going to make sure that if she's going to throw up, she's going to be safe. And it's crazy. I mean, the people don't do this. Sarah says, I have read a great book about this and how keeping your relationship with your kids close prevents them from running to other peers for what they need. Exactly. So you can't be everything to them. I am not a 19-year-old girl. I am not a 10-year-old girl. I really don't like playing Legos. I got to be honest. I've never liked playing Barbie. I will do their hair for hours. But play Barbie? Not so much. I got to be honest. I'll write, I'll draw, I'll hang it, I'll do crafts. Oh my gosh, Sarah and I once made an entire like doll kitchen crafty thing for 8 hours straight. It was awesome. But ask me to play with them, nah. I sucked at it as a kid. All right, it wasn't my thing. But being able to really be able to be there and listen. So I shared a little bit last night that Sarah was pissed. Well, it also then came out that she was really sad and she's frightened to make friends because they've all stabbed her in the back. I'm going to have a sip of coffee here. And she's scared to give a new friend the chance to get close to her because she's afraid of getting hurt. So this is directly for you, Sarah. She's terrified. She's terrified that because she's heard this particular person talk about someone else, she's terrified that then that person will talk about her behind her back. And she doesn't know how to approach this potentially really good new friendship with that. So when we were talking about it, I was like, well, you could say to your friend that you're hoping to be better friends with that, when you talk about someone else, it really doesn't make me feel good. It makes me scared, or I'm afraid that you'll do that to me. And she's like, Mom, but I can't do that because what if I lose that friend by doing that? And so we had this really great discussion about what it is to be a friend. And she's like, well, if I can't trust them, then how do I know? And I was like, well, that's a personal thing. And trust takes time. It doesn't happen, especially as you get older and you get into your tween years. Trust is really hard because it's like everybody's out for themselves. And if you've been hurt before, if you've lost friendships, you have that fear factor. Sorry about if you see my arm moving. I have a dog on my lap right now. And so really being able to trust someone means having faith in yourself. And being able to have faith in friendship, it starts at home. And so we were able to sit up, and she was able to communicate effectively rather than screaming at me and reacting about things that had nothing to do with it. I was able to sit on her bed with her while she cried, while she talked, and help her come to her own conclusions and her own solutions. Because I was able to listen, because she trusted I wouldn't take that information and go elsewhere with it, or I wouldn't belittle her or demean her. Now, does she have a full, good morning, Sue, does she have a full understanding of it? No, but she's going to get there. So when you're friends with your child, it gives you the ability to have an insight into their world that you otherwise most likely would not have had. But that doesn't mean you have carte blanche, no safety, no boundaries. It means that you do hold the boundaries, that they know that if it is not safe, you're going to be there. They know that you're going to keep them in a space that's held sacred for them. And isn't that what we all do with our friends? That we hold space for them to be able to make their mistakes, because they're going to happen, but yet be there when they fall down and not rub their face in it. That we spend time investing in what is important to them, but it needs to be reciprocated. It needs to be mutual. Respect is a mutual thing. Friendship is a mutual respect for one another. So when you have that mutual respect, your kid's not going to run off and be like, hey, let's go get drunk, let's go fail classes together. I don't want to do my homework. Okay, so they don't want to do their homework. Who's going to fail the class? Is it you or them? It's them if they don't do the work, and that's the real world. If you decide not to show up for work, guess what's going to happen? You're going to eventually get fired. That's what it is. I think if parents can discern the difference between what is theirs and what is their child's, and that can, for some people, be a very, very blurred line. For example, Sarah last night was telling me she's in a band, and she sings, and she had gone with her girls. The name of the band is Girls Rock House Band, and Girls Rock is an awesome camp that she does in the summertime. And it's all about female empowerment and finding your own voice, because for girls that's really hard. And so she wanted to go in her shirt that she had worn on stage this last summer. And it was a t-shirt that she'd cut a fringe on the bottom. Oh, bless you, baby. And so when she went, no one had said anything when she was on stage. They all loved her shirt of the summertime. And now she's in the house band. And they're like, oh, you're showing a lot of skin. Your mom let you out of the house like that? Okay, she was showing, it was like she was wearing a half shirt and a jacket over it. And it was 60 degrees out. So yes, I let her out of the house in that. I suggested that she put a tank top on underneath. I suggested that she might want to wear a sweater over it, but ultimately her decision wasn't about me. But she was so upset that other people would judge me off of what she wore. So she didn't realize it would have that implication. She needed to learn that lesson that totally belonged to her. But I wasn't worried about it because this is not a group of people that I really care what their opinion is about me. I really don't care what a 10-year-old through a 16-year-old care. It's not my priority. What I care about is what my child thinks of me. And the fact that she was enlightened and sensitive to that will give her the ability to move forward when she makes those decisions and have a different point of view and be able to see outside of herself. Because the real world does judge. That's what it is. But you don't need to judge in your home. I'm going to stop for 1 second. I want to say hi to Sue, see how she's doing, because she has lost all 3 of her doggies since November, and that is really, really hard. And I want to give her a big hug because I know that's got to be heartbreaking. And so I'm going to sit here right now, Sue, and pet baby's belly just for you and send that to you because I know she would love it if you were here petting her belly. Do you guys have any questions? Because I'm just sitting here monologuing along about what it is to actually be friends with your child, or what your fears are, or why you think society is so scared of this. Because it's really not anything to be scared of. It actually leads to better relationships, better communication. They become a better employee. They are more responsible. They have the ability to have more insight because they are friends with a mentor. And they know that you'll hold the space as their parent to keep them safe. I absolutely step in if they are not safe, if someone else is not safe, if they're disrespecting me or themselves or their own space, because that's really important to be able to know to respect yourself or to respect others. The rule in our house is you can have any mood you want in your bedroom. You can be as pissy as you want, angry as you want, sad, whatever it is. But when you step out of your bedroom and you come into mutual family space, you need to be able to deal with other people. It's totally fine to say, I'm pissed off, or that really irritated me, or I'm very sensitive right now. Totally cool. We will be gentle and make sure that we check in with you. But you don't have the right to come out here and vomit all over everyone. And from what I've heard from other people is that, their kids, when they're friends with them, well, they just have the right to come out and do whatever they want with them. Like, you do that to your friends? Are you nasty to your friends? Do you sit there and, make comments that you would know, that, I don't know, do you abuse them? Do you sit there and not treat them with respect and then stay friends with that person? Like, I have someone that I've known for over 40 years. Okay. And I got to tell you, I have to be in the mood to deal with that person because she has no understanding of boundaries. And it's not a friendship that I've been able to cultivate. Yes, we've known each other for a very long time. But that doesn't mean that's a friendship that I necessarily, oh, yuck, I just got dog sneezed, that I want to encourage because it doesn't respect me and she doesn't respect herself. So when I say friends with your child, I don't mean this carte blanche, they get to run all over you. I mean a friendship like you'd have with a friend, one that is respectful of your time, that is respectful of your space, that is respectful of your personhood, because it's a two-way street. It goes back and forth. It's not just this carte blanche, let's go out and party together, be irresponsible, because that's not being a friend. That's not mentoring. That's not teaching them anything. So I'm going to loop all the way back to the beginning of when I opened this up, I actually talked about the Bible, of all things, and how we are raised with this honor thy mother and thy father, and most people don't bother to get into the next line in Ephesians, which is, fathers, do not vex your child and raise them. Oh, do you mind, Major? I now have a second dog at my feet. Come here. See, this is live video where dogs actually bark and have lives. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. He wants my apples. He can't have my apples. That's also, see, I'm being a friend to my dog. There's a boundary. He is not allowed to do that. So, Sarah, do you have any questions about being friends with your child and how to do it so that they don't run all over you, or so how you do it so that it's not codependent. Because to be 55 years old and running back to your parents to bail you out of a bad decision is not attachment parenting. That's codependency. Not having a boundary about where things belong is not being a friend. That's being codependent. So is there anything that I can answer for you guys before I wrap it up this morning? I love these awkward moments of pause. All right. If you guys have got it, I guess I've done a really good job explaining it. If you haven't, please ask some more questions below. Feel free to visit my website, which is maryharrington.com. Oh, look at that, Sarah Swift. It is a hard middle finding that is very tough. Yes, it is. It is very tough. But think about it. If your 11-year-old is being mouthy, well, what would you say to your spouse if they're being mouthy? Or what would you want to be said to you? Would you want to react, which is redoing exactly the action? Or would you want to say, hey, hold up here. That's really not okay. Your feeling is valid, but those words are hurtful. Yeah, they need a boundary. So, anyway, it's just a matter of properly communicating and being able to say, hey, you know what, that's not cool. You don't need to yell. You don't need to scream. You don't have to get in their face. There's no reason for it. Remember, don't vex your child. But respect them. Respect their time. Respect the fact that they don't know what they're doing. They've never been that age before. They can't meet you where you are because they've never been there. Last I looked, my 10-year-old is not 45. My 19-year-old is not 45. They can't meet me where I am. They've never been there. But can I meet them where they are? Yeah, I really can. I mean, there are times that I've had to talk to Elizabeth like a 19-year-old. And you know what that means? That means completely fluent in fucking-ese. Completely fluent. But I'm not saying fuck you to her. I'm just using that word in the vocabulary. And we end up laughing hysterically by the time we're done because it looks really pretty stupid on a 45-year-old to have such a limited vocabulary. I mean, really? I've taught her better. Come here. Come on up. So, but yeah, finding that middle is really more about finding the middle within yourself, Sarah. It's really about learning to respect yourself, talk to yourself kindly, give space to yourself, give respect to yourself, set boundaries for yourself, because you can't teach what you haven't learned. And really, that's the key to it all. If you're not friends with yourself, you cannot be friends with your child. If your inner voice is telling you all these negative things about yourself, well, what do you think is going to come out of your mouth? Negative things. You have to change your mindset. And so when you hear that nagging inner voice, I mean, that was potentially probably once a teacher or a parent or a really bad person that called themselves your friend or a bully, you have to realize that you give that space, you give it validity every time you don't stop it and say, is that valid? Literally stop that thought and say, what facts back up that statement? All right? So I think under all of it, we're all, if you're female watching this, like 10 and 12-year-old little girls who are still afraid, myself included, of being bullied, of not being liked, that we don't have the right clothes, we don't have the right hair. If we could just do something better, we'd be liked. Well, the truth of the matter is we all walk around feeling that way. So we have to stop it and say, I need to be my own best friend. If we talked to our friends the way we talk to ourselves, holy shit, you know what they do? They'd leave. So don't talk to yourself that way. Talk to yourself how you would talk to a friend, because you need to be your own best friend. And once you're your own best friend, then you can be friends to your child because you understand boundaries, you understand placement, you understand love, you understand devotion, and apparently you understand a whining dog over here. Come here. No, I can't get you what's under there. Come here. So, with that, my dog's about ready to bark again. Major's being a butt boy, as we call him. Leave your comments below, leave your questions below, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 9. Bye-bye.